how do we measure success? How do we measure when we've made it? What our goals are and say, okay, you know what? I've achieved success. I know I have just made it. Here's the challenge. Many of us never understand what does it mean to achieve success. We're trying to achieve this idea of success. We want to be successful, but we don't really have an exact goal, exact level of measurement. So what ends up happening is we're trying to attain success, but because we haven't defined success, what ends up happening is we never attain what we're trying to get, and that's where it becomes depressing, becomes discouraging. And we say, well, what is success? And we end up going off of what we see on Instagram, on TikTok, on our peers, on our colleagues, on our neighbor. And we say, okay, well, if that's their success, then that should be my level of success. And what's happening is we're trying to then keep up with someone else rather than having success for ourselves, but instead now we're keeping up with the Joneses. And we're talking about that in today's episode. Check it out. Welcome to today's episode. I'm Stephen Dela Cruz. I am recording today both audibly, and through video. Nothing crazy, no crazy set. It's just myself today talking about what success means. And the reason why I want to talk about this topic on my first episode of this podcast is because that's the thing, is that we're all trying to achieve what does a successful marriage look like? What does a successful business look like? What does successful finances? What does successful kids look like? What does success look like? And if we're trying to be honest with ourselves, we end up looking at what success looks like based on other people, what we see from the outside. We see, well, this person here, they're on stage all the time, so that's successful. This person here on Instagram travels every single weekend. That is successful. This person over here goes, so we've been comparing ourselves, what does success look like, but we haven't defined what success looks like for us. And sometimes people feel like, oh, I'm not successful. I hate that I'm not successful. And I say, well, how much money do you have to make? Well, I have $400 in the bank. Well, if you want to compare yourself to people in India, you are very, very successful because they only live off $2 a week in India. And over here, people are getting paid a lot more. But they say, well, no, that's not success because that doesn't compare. What ends up happening, they're saying is, it doesn't compare to my neighbor, to my friend, my coworker, who has more money or who has more. So success ends up becoming a comparison thing than an actual achievement of your personal goals and desires. So, my friends, what ends up happening is we end up becoming depressed and angry and frustrated and discouraged. And we even say to ourselves sometimes, why even start? Why even begin? Why even do this thing? Why even try if I can never attain it? And what we're really saying is, I'm comparing myself to my neighbor, to my friend, and that just seems like a level I can never achieve. We have to stop comparing ourselves to what other people looks like their successes. And I find that for myself, I just started a TikTok here a month and a half ago, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this person has over 1 million followers on TikTok. But then here I am comparing their chapter 50, and I'm on introduction chapter. Does that make sense? They're on chapter 50, and I'm only on chapter 1. And here I am thinking to myself, I should be on chapter 50 where they're at. But the thing is, the truth of the matter is, they started a long time ago, much longer than I have. But that is what we end up doing with other people and with our businesses and our finances. So the question I have for you is this: if we want to stop this comparison thing and start living a life more fulfilling and more joy in our life, we have to understand, what does success look like to us? And not an event. Success is not an event. It's not the moment I hit $1 million, I am successful. Let me tell you right now, to be a very rude awakening, when you hit $1 million, you're going to want $2 million. When you hit $3 million, you're going to want $5 million. So unfortunately, there's no such thing as arriving. I know people who are athletic and say, okay, I got myself a six-pack. Now I want to do with this. Now I want to do with that. My good friend Casey, She says, okay, I've done a half marathon. Now I want to do a full marathon. Now I want to do an Ironman. And they just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And here's the thing, that's normal. That is normal. To attain a level of success, it's okay, I want to achieve this. Now I want to achieve this. But here's the thing, understand this, that you'll never arrive. And the moment you arrive is the moment you stop dreaming. And the moment you stop dreaming is the moment you stop living. And if you stop living, you're depressed, you're suicidal, you're angry at life, you're bitter, and that's the challenge. So my friend, here is my encouragement for you today. No matter where you are in this journey of life, understand that it's all a process, and success is an achievable thing, but it's not an event. It's a person. It's what you are. It's who you are. So when you say, okay, I want to be successful, then what the question is, what does success look like? It's not an event. It's not when I have this, then I'm successful. Because let me tell you right now, when Casey did her half marathon, she was proud of herself for a moment. For a moment. And then she wanted to do a full marathon. And then she struggled her way to training for that to get to the half marathon. Then she struggled her way to the Ironman. But here's the funny thing, it's always a struggle. And all the time she's comparing herself to also the other athletes. Like, oh my gosh, it's easy for that person. It's easy for that person. Oh my gosh, I'm struggling. And I can tell you, sometimes she almost thought about giving up and saying, maybe I shouldn't achieve this no more. Maybe I shouldn't do this no more. So my friends, I thought about that when it comes to TikTok. Yeah, man, I'm only at 200 people. That person's over 1 million. I'm never going to get to that level. Maybe I shouldn't start. Maybe I shouldn't do it. And I end up getting discouraged myself and say, you know what? No, I'm not going to do it anymore. Forget it. And I didn't do it for over a year. Everyone's been telling me to do it for over a year, but I haven't done it. So now I say, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to go ahead and enjoy the process. So what does success look like for me when it comes to my social media, to my business? You know what? As long as I can get 5 new followers a week, I'm happy. That's success to me. 5 new followers a week. Now it's a weekly achievement. So my friends, here's and when I achieve my small wins of 5 people per week, I feel good about myself, and it's achievable. It's not crazy, and I'm not beating myself up. So I just gotta be constantly. I gotta be religious on my content every single day, posting on a regular basis. I have to be engaging, interacting, yada yada, the whole 9 yards. And when I hit my 5 people per week, I am a happy camper. And what's happening is the 5 people add up per week. Eventually, and I'm not there yet, but eventually, my 200 followers I had, now today I'm over 7,000 followers. But it's because I just had the small goals. Success is not a huge thing. It's not an event. It's a person. As a person, as long as I can get these small wins, and the small wins end up becoming the big win. So if you're out there today and you're listening to this and you're saying, you know what? You're right, Steven. I don't know exactly what does it mean to be successful. I don't know what it is. My definition of success. See, success again is not an overarching dictionary. Success is what is it you set your mind to. What is your definition of success? When you can define what success is to you, not an event, but a moment, but the small wins, then you're gonna find yourself being more motivated, more encouraged, and you're gonna keep on pushing through. And eventually your 200 followers and it becomes 7,000 followers, 70,000 followers, 1 million followers. And never compare yourself to someone's chapter 15 when you're just on chapter 1. And when you understand that, it becomes a little bit more graceful to yourself. You begin to have a little bit more grace to yourself. So now, that's what I'm doing this podcast. Honestly, this is my first time doing this podcast. I've done podcasts in the past, but not where I'm doing video right now for YouTube and for Audible audio for Spotify, Apple Apple Podcast, or all the other apps, whatever else. I've never done this before where I'm doing multiple things, and I'm gonna have someone also write an article on this. So this is new for me, and I'm doing this by myself. And, I used to have a team doing this for me, but now everyone else is getting busy with everything else. So I'm okay, let me just do this myself and figure this out. And so in reality, I myself right now, think to myself, oh, this is only a 10-minute podcast, not that long. But here's the thing, Again, I'm comparing myself. Usually a podcast is about 30 minutes to an hour. I say, you know what? No, I'm going to go ahead and do a podcast and just put the information out there. Just do it. Done is better than perfect, because you'll never hit perfect, because perfect is not achievable. So understand that done is better than perfect. Just get to it and do it. And eventually you learn and improve as the process goes along. So my friends, my encouragement for you from this very, 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 very first podcast on this episode is we have to stop comparing ourselves to other people and start defining what success means to us, not what other people are doing, but what success looks like to us. And then achieving success from small wins that adds up to the big win. You want to lose 50 pounds? First lose 5, and then lose another 5, and do that 10 more times, or 8 more times, and then you lost 50 pounds. I probably should do that. But my friends, get the small wins, celebrate yourself, and then in celebrating yourself and getting those small wins, you'll enjoy life a lot more. You'll have more freedom, you'll be more peace with yourself, and have a lot more grace within yourself. That is my content. That's my content for you today in this podcast and on YouTube. Like and follow for more. Subscribe. I don't know what you call it, podcast land or YouTube, but subscribe to this channel and follow for more. We'll put out more content as soon as possible. Take care and God bless.